Can injured fantasy football players make a big comeback? Have you ever wondered if a player can bounce back after an injury and still perform at a high level in fantasy football? The answer is yes, but it depends on several factors. The type of injury, the player's position, and their recovery process all play a role in determining how well they can return to form. Recovery timelines can vary significantly based on the injury. For instance, an anterior cruciate ligament tear usually requires 9 to 12 months of rehabilitation. This often includes physical therapy to regain strength and mobility. Players typically do not return to full sports activity until at least 6 months after surgery. On the other hand, minor injuries like shoulder contusions may only keep a player out for 1 to 2 weeks, allowing for a quicker return. More severe injuries, such as Achilles tendon ruptures, often have lower return to sport rates. Even after recovery, these players may experience reduced performance metrics. When it comes to positions, quarterbacks usually see the largest drop in fantasy points per game after an injury, followed closely by wide receivers. Injuries to specific body parts, like the shin or arm, can lead to more significant declines in fantasy production. Interestingly, the number of games missed does not always predict how much a player's performance will change. This highlights the importance of understanding the injury type and individual player factors. For example, some players have returned faster than expected from serious injuries. A defensive end returned just 8 weeks after shoulder fracture surgery, which is earlier than the typical timeline. However, running backs with anterior cruciate ligament tears face tough odds. Research shows that about 30% of these players never regain their pre-injury fantasy value. Players who are younger, more athletic, and have high draft capital may have better chances of bouncing back. For Achilles repairs, there is about a 72% return-to-play rate, but many of these players experience a 50% reduction in power metrics that are relevant to fantasy scoring. For fantasy football managers, monitoring injury reports is essential. Understanding typical recovery timelines and considering player-specific factors like age and pre-injury performance can help you decide whether to hold or trade an injured player. Tracking post-injury game logs and fantasy points per game can provide insights into whether a player is trending toward a full comeback or if their effectiveness has diminished. Patience is key during this process. Rushing players back too soon can lead to re-injury and a longer absence. While many injured fantasy football players can return to productive roles, the extent of their comeback varies widely. Careful injury management and tracking post-injury performance are vital for making informed decisions throughout the season.